right, welcome back to POW Gaming's Challenge Sunday, number 11, I believe. We have a great game for this round 6 between Hector Vargas and Alberto Lara. We did just get word that Alberto is taking a Game 1 loss due to a team sheet error, but whether or not that uphill battle is going to be too much for him to trump is what we're about to find out right now.
Yeah, I am his Discord here. Right, let's say Ryan. Hey, we're still here. Doing Challenge 11. This is the final round, and Alberto already starting at a disadvantage, if you want to call it that, seasoned player.
I would definitely still call that a disadvantage. You know, this is Pokemon. Anyone can win any game, so the fact that Hector definitely coming in as the underdog only has to do that one time instead of two will probably be enough to help him out. We will have to see, though, because Alberto, one of the best players in North America, currently sitting number 3 in global CP rankings, actually, which is just insane that he's playing at this local with some SoCal chumps like us.
It's probably just polished up for some future events he wants to go to. Like, do we know he's going to Milwaukee, Fresno, or NAIC soon enough? Maybe he's preparing for one of those events.
Yeah, you know, these are always great practice where you get to play against great players like Hector himself, who, while he's not quite as accomplished as Alberto has been around the block, he comes to a lot of these tournaments and always does pretty well. So, yeah, this will be a good match for sure.
Yeah, a lot of interesting things from both these sides here. We have something pretty familiar from Alberto. Hector, interesting techs, I'll say at least.
Yeah, looking down the line at what we see here, Hector running in with the Palafin Rain, and he does have Flip Turn, which is kind of unique. I find that a really cool tech, allowing you to maybe get out of a Gothitelle or just switch out turn 1 versus something you're faster than, get some damage off too.
I mean, we would be saying Gothitelle if it actually was here, but sadly it's not on here anytime soon. Gothitelle, I feel like the Pokemon, like, I'll be real, it doesn't perform as good as it should, but it's just like, it accomplishes one thing, but then it falls flat.
Yeah, trapping in a meta where Fluttermane, a Pokemon immune to trappings at about 80+% usage, is suspect at best. And speaking of 80% usage, we actually will see Fluttermane on both players' sides. Hector opting for the Booster Energy substitute set, which is pretty strong at doing damage, keeping yourself safe from Spore, whereas Alberto has the Focus Sash set, which is really good in Hyper Offense. Something like Rain, being able to live that one-time strong hit, like maybe a Jet Punch in Rain, Sash will come in really useful for that.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Fluttermane. I'll be real, you only see 3 items with Fluttermane. You either see Booster Energy, Choice Specs, or Focus Sash. Any item, and it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, any other item, a little questionable. Maybe you could get away with Leftovers or Citrus if you want to go really bulky, but we have 3 perfect items. No need to go to such a underperforming one. So, looks like players are getting ready to get into the match. Alberto using his tried and true trio of Klefki, Corviknight, Garchomp. He's been using it all the way since OCIC Finals. If it works, why fix it?
Garchomp, I've always thought, was one of the better Pokemon in this generation, but so far, I feel like it's taken a bit of an uphill and then downhill and then up and down. So it's like, at one moment it's one of the better Pokemon in the game, the next moment it gets outshined by something like Roaring Moon or Baxcalibur, for example.
I would even go as far as...
And now Baxcalibur has gone down, and Garchomp's gone up again.
Yeah, I always go as far as to say Great Tusk too, if you want an offensive ground type, getting that Headlong Rush, single target damage. Garchomp can only really Stomping Tantrum, but both players are going to be staring down Team Preview now. We have Hector's perspective on the left, Alberto on the right. So as these players make their decisions, Hector's going to lock in with the lead Palafin, and Alberto's quick to lock in too.
Yeah, let's go over both teams here. For Hector, it's Pelipper, Fluttermane, Amoonguss, Arcanine, Palafin, and Iron Hands. For Alberto, it's his tried and true Klefki, Corviknight, Garchomp, Chi-Yu, Fluttermane, and Roaring Moon.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of base stats on Alberto's side between the Roaring Moon, Fluttermane, Chi-Yu, Garchomp. And speak of the devil, 2 of those Pokemon out to lead, Fluttermane and Chi-Yu. Always known for their really strong duo synergy. Fluttermane taking really good advantage of the Beads of Ruin ability, which lowers the SPDEF of all non-Chi-Yu Pokemon on the field.
And now, the Intimidate also came in from this Arcanine, not going to be doing a whole lot. You know, Palafin Yeah, I was gonna say, if you're hard switching, I don't know if flip turns usually been worth it. You know, maybe you could catch a couple Pokemon by surprise, but it's just more so like, why do you need flip turn if you can just switch it out for something like that Iron Hands? We do see Terrestrialization immediately, however.
Yeah, so Iron Hands will switch in for the Palafin. This is really risky.
And that's a Terra Grass there for Chi-Yu there. Going to Grass type, you know, maybe wants to avoid a fire, Water type actually Palafin. Played into Alberto's hands. There's a Shadow Ball coming in from Alberto's Flutter Mane. Does a good amount of damage. Oh, double targeted into the Arcanine though. That's a knockout with that Dark Pulse.
Yeah, Hector is going to be in a really tough spot after that. Chi-Yu being Grass type means it is pretty safe from this Jet Punch from Palafin. I'm not sure if Rain boosted Jet Punch from Palafin with Terra would even be enough to knock out Chi-Yu, but we're going to see Pelipper come in instead.
And you forget, Rain plus Hurricane, devastating, and now it's threatening a one-hit knockout maybe onto this Chi-Yu, especially with a high power.
It does, but it is a lot slower than the other two Mons, so Hector's going to opt to protect it and hope that maybe Alberto will double target into that slot and Iron Hands can get some damage off. The Heavy Slam will bring the Flutter Mane down to Sash should it go off.
Chi-Yu protecting, however, knows the threat of Pelipper. Let's see if the Flutter Mane does the exact same thing. No, we're going to see Pelipper protect.
Yeah, so Alberto is going to Dazzling Gleam, split the difference. It did risk Wide Guard, but just to protect from Hector, so this is going to do a ton to Iron Hands.
Oh my god, that did a lot of damage. And there's a Heavy Slam onto the Flutter Mane for Hector, and that's a Focus Sash there on Alberto's Flutter Mane.
Yeah, so Alberto, now that Hector has protected the Pelipper, could opt to double target into that slot.
I don't think you could Wide Guard after protect if mechanics work that way. So
you actually are able to, but you can't protect after Wide Guard is the way that that mechanic shapes up. So if he wants to, if Hector wants to gamble, he could elect into that Wide Guard. We'll see a Terra Grass Wild Charge into the Flutter Mane.
Yeah, so now I think this comes down to what the Pelipper does here for Hector, because Hurricane's still on the table, but Dark Pulse also on the table.
Yeah, the fact that it protected last turn does mean it is at risk of being double targeted by maybe another Moonblast Dark Pulse or Shadow Ball Dark Pulse. We will have to find out. Moonblast does go into the Pelipper. That's an instant bring down to Sash.
Yeah, go down to Sash there. Pelipper does not have the greatest special defense stats. What did the Chi-Yu do here? Just went for the Dark Pulse. Yep, safely targets the Pelipper.
Double target into Pelipper. So Iron Hands is free to knock out the Flutter Mane here, but due to the lack of health on this Iron Hands and the 2v3, I still feel like I have to like Alberto's position more. Palafin will come in with the Rain, but the fact that it can't Terra Water, Jet Punch the Chi-Yu and knock it out, I don't know if he's going to get there with damage, so...
And I don't know, there's the Roaring Moon actually from Alberto, so one of his heavier hitters coming into play, especially with the available combo that is available, which is Booster Energy. We'll have to see what stat boosts though, because Roaring Moon does tend to have different ways that they're trained based on what set they are, and it's going to be an attack booster.
So that's going to be a huge threat to this Grass Iron Hands, since it has Acrobatics, and it's getting the double damage without an item boost.
Yeah,
that's going to go right into the Iron Hands, immediate knockout.
And the Paladin didn't even go for a Jet Punch, so maybe it went for the Wave Crash on the Roaring Moon, to be honest, but I think this is too little too late for Alberto, for Hector to come back from. And there's the Terra Blast. This may get a knockout, actually, thanks to that Life Orb, and it does!
Wow, so in one hit, the Chi-Yu with Life Orb is not only faster, but able to knock out that Palafin, so this Chi-Yu just put in massive work this game.
And just like that, because of the game loss that Hector got, instead of going to game 2, we're going to game 3.
Yeah, so we're tied up 1-1. Hector is probably going to have to find some other way to deal with that Chi-Yu Flutter Mane double targeting combo that he kind of just called every double target correct, and it was too much for Hector to deal with. Turn 1 taking out the Arcanine, and then turn 3 Pelipper and Pelipper got targeted by Moonblast and Dark Pulse to go down.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think it also made sense that Alberto did not respect the Iron Hands because, first of all, that Focus Sash onto the Flutter Mane was probably your bigger reason why you had to do that in the first place. But at the same time, Palafin kind of left doing nothing because Grass Terra on the Chi-Yu was factorial. It also was resistant to against the Roaring Moon, but also it kind of was just set up a little too late.
Yeah, so we're going to see Hector hover over the Flutter Mane as a lead. I think that might help him deal a little bit better with the Flutter Chi-Yu, having him on faster than that Chi-Yu. He's really debating this 4th slot, though. We did see the Palafin get locked in and then immediately undone, and there it is.
And Alberto's locked in quick, too. So now we're going to game 3 here at the 1-0 loss there. It's 1-1 now. Now it's 1-1.
Yeah, 1-1 thanks to the game loss Alberto took due to a team sheet error. So the unofficial but official game 3 is about to kick off. We're going to see Alberto lead Flutterman Chi-Yu, the run back from game 1/2, depending on what you want to call it. But Hector's going to mix it up with Fluttermane and Iron Hands of his own.
I think it's very safe for the Iron Hands to go to the fake out onto the Chi-Yu now here, but kind of has to play careful thanks to that beats the rune ability, and also because of how much damage that Fluttermane is doing, you know.
Yeah, not only that, but there is the double protect option for Alberto if he is afraid of fake out plus something Fluttermane could do. Instantly, we're going to see a Terra Fairy from Hector, and we're going to see if Alberto is going to go for that double protect. I don't know if he was afraid of the fake out or not.
And the fact that Hector went for the translation on that Fluttermane tells him he's afraid of this Shadow Ball incoming from this Fluttermane if he went for it. But I think the Iron Hands is much more for Fred, because I think Chi-Yu actually does have more favorable matchup against something like that Iron Hands. But
yeah,
I mean Fluttermane, excuse me.
Not being able to get rid of the fighting type against the Fluttermane is going to really make this Iron Hands take some damage if a fairy move comes onto it. So there's the terrestrialization animation. I'm not sure whose trainer that is.
It's a Fluttermane, but from who? It might be from Hector.
Yeah, because we did see Hector lock that in, but we do know that Alberto also has a Fluttermane with Terra Fairy, so that is going to be...
Oh, it's from Alberto!
It is Alberto's, so we're going to see 2 Terra Fairy Fluttermanes.
They're both afraid of Shadow Ball.
Yeah, both afraid of the other one giving each other a Shadow Ball. I think Alberto, since he has the Focus Sash, is maybe more so doing this for the damage. Really being able to knock out that Iron Hands with maybe a Moonblast would go very hard in this game for him.
Dazzling Gleam going to be the option here for Alberto with that Beats of Ruin plus that Terra Fairy. Not enough to take out the Iron Hands, even with that critical hit.
And we'll see a return Dazzling Gleam. It shouldn't be able to knock out either one of these Pokemon as it comes close, but not quite.
And Flamethrower, wow, it's going to take out the Fluttermane.
Yeah, so Hector down a Pokemon, but we do get to see what this Iron Hand wants to throw out for an attack before the turn ends.
I think he saw Hover a Heavy Slam there to see the Life Orb go out.
So we will see a Heavy Slam knock out that Fluttermane. So turn 1, both trainers will knock out the other's Fluttermane, and that is Terra off the board for both players. However, because Hector has the Palafin in the back, I don't know how easy it'll be for him to get set up into that hero mode.
I think if you need to set up Palafin, you need to bring it out immediately. Yeah, bring it out immediately. We have an opportunity to switch into the Pelipper. Or at least, you have to switch it out if you want to get into hero form. Otherwise, you're risking a 0 form for Hector. And as for Alberto, this might be an opening for a Roaring Moon to come into play. And it is.
The Iron Hands not being able to protect means it is really a sitting duck. Kind of no matter what, one of these Pokemon on Hector's side is at risk of being knocked out here. And we still haven't even seen Alberto's 4th Pokemon, so Hector's probably going to have to play this game with Palafin in 0 form unless he can flip turn out.
It looks like that's going to be his Gambit right now, but Roaring Moon does have the opportunity to go Terra Flying to take full advantage of that acrobatics.
Well, we do have to remember turn 1 both sides.
Oh, right.
Terra Fairy.
Yeah, so it's still a very favorable position for Alberto. You know, Roaring Moon going to be outspeeding both these Pokemon. Vroachok going to be the choice. Probably wanted to catch the Iron Hands on the switch in. Gets a critical hit again. And now Palafin's stuck in 0 form unless his flip turn goes off.
Yeah, so he will have to avoid a flinch from a Dark Pulse. He'll have to just take it to begin with, and he doesn't even do that.
Beads of Ruin plus Stab plus Life Orb plus Ratio.
Yeah, this is quite a lot to survive. And all that's left for Hector is now the Pelipper. It does have a Focus Sash, so it can hang on a little longer, but being that it's the slowest Pokemon on the field against 2 really heavy hitters, Hector is going to throw in the towel.
Wow, Alberto just casually wins the 2-0, but unofficially a 2-0, but officially it's a 2-1.
Yeah, I think he really showed off to us why he's number 3 in CP in the country. That was a really dominant game 2 and 3 from him, not really even giving up an inch to Hector.
That just shows you 2 different sides of the coin, because Alberto had all the offense in the world while Hector needed setup to work. And his Pokemon were typically more slower than the opposition.
Yeah, he did have the priority with Palafin, but it just wasn't enough. Game 1 against the Grass Chiyu, and Game 2 just not being able to get into that hero form early enough. So that is going to be Alberto moving on to, I believe, 6-0.
Wow, and that's probably going to secure him the top spot in Top Cut.
Yeah, I think he might be the only 6-0 left. We would have to check the standings, of course, but Hector definitely has a chance at making Top Cut as well. We're about to find out after this round ends who our 8 players advancing are going to be.
Yeah, if you want to check out our top 8 tables, don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back to find out who our top 8 trainers are, who will win CP, and who will be competing for the crown of Gym Challenge.